Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And seeing how today is Halloween, I thought I would once again return the tradition from last year of giving you something truly terrifying. How about an artillery gameplay? But not just any artillery gameplay, an artillery gameplay from a couple of years ago when these things truly were something fearsome and something that they would give you nightmares if they caught you out in the open. Now this is one of the best artillery replays of all time. I watched a bunch of them today, and I can tell you what, Zulerdien or Zulerdien, I'm going to be calling you Zulerdien, I don't know, it sounds a little bit more flamboyant, who's in TSOP. He might not be now though, because this was nearly a couple of years ago, but he's clearly a Finn. And you know what? Finnish people playing artillery, I guess there's going to be a big Zulerdien Manitou, Torilla Tavetan going on in the comments down below. But you know what? The Finns, some of the most funny members of my community. A big shout out to all of you out there, but also crazy World of Tanks players. I always remember playing with Spale and Muppety and all of those lovely gents years and years ago. Just how intense they are, but intensely funny as well, and also great tankers. So, Zulerdien or Zulerdien is playing in the Batchat 15558, the top tier French self-propelled gun. And you might be noticing that back in the day, this vehicle had 4 rounds of 155mm ammunition. That's one more than it has now. Also, the alpha damage was higher, and the penetration was higher. And the delay between the shells was half of what it is now. And so that means that within, gosh, I guess 15 seconds of the first shot, that we're going to see exactly how much Zulerdien is going to be able to put into this T1025. Oh god, that round was sick. That was one of his 4 rounds, and he put in, what, 5.53 into the E5 and 3.21 into the IS7. He wasn't quite able to finish off the T1025 with the final shot, but we'll have to see later on when we take a look at the post-game stats, just the kind of difference there. So, you know what, when I've watched this replay, I mean, I know I joke and say, oh, it's going to give you nightmares because it's Halloween and so on and so forth. But it does kind of bring back, I guess, some traumatic stress moments in my life about raging when getting hit by artillery, or just thinking about what artillery used to be like in the game. Now, I guess the only good thing when you think about getting hit or shall I say an artillery missing you back in the day when it was like this, is that they're not stunning you, they're not taking away your crew skill. And when you do get hit by an artillery now, and depending on the caliber of the gun, and I guess the tier, higher up on the tier, the stuns seem to get very, very long. And you're just 25% worse for the next 10, 15, sometimes I guess even, are we cutting up towards 20 seconds? I haven't been playing enough artillery in the last 6 months to truly know. But I guess the only good thing about artillery back then was that when you did hit, that you did so much more. Yeah, so much more. That was a penetrating shot into the side of the T-54, setting him on fire for 1,232 combined damage in this IS-7. Oh, one thing I just realized is that back in the day, you could still chat to the enemy team. Now, you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think that T-54 is saying to that artillery right now. Oh dear, you can't actually see that, can you? Well, he's kindly, he's letting him know how much he loves him and how much he wants to care for him, and, you know, maybe, let's not go there. But oh my word, I can't believe it. Back in the day, World of Tanks just feels so much brutal than it is now with regards to artillery and people just cussing each other out all the way across the map. So I guess the only good thing about defending yourself from artillery back in the day 2 years ago was the fact that if artillery missed you, they didn't really have a gigantic splash radius. What is the splash radius on these premium shells? 5 meters? I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot higher than that now. The penetration, though, so much higher. I can't believe how high the penetration is on this round. What are we talking about here? 95mm of penetration and 1,250. It's pretty much like getting hit by a Type 5 Heavy now, right? Apart from this is an auto-loading Type 5 Heavy that can hit you from any part of the map. But I guess it doesn't really have the armor and it doesn't have the gun depression. It's probably not quite as accurate. Oh wow, another E100. Not very happy about artillery in this game. How many artillery even in this game? There's 3 artillery. Okay, Zulerdien finishes off the E5, securing his 3rd kill of this game, and immediately turns his attention towards the Centurion Action 10. And I'm not sure if this is the modification Battle Assistant, which Wargaming subsequently have put into the game as standard, or if Zulerdien is using a special modification back then. I think it probably is Battle Assistant, which was a much better modification form than the kind of the smoother system that Wargaming has got now. I do miss Battle Assistant. I know it's still out there, and I have been dibbling and dabbling with trying it out. Oh, that's the first bad shot of the game. What are you doing, Zulerdien? You could have hit that one in against the mouse. Outrageous. So I have been messing around with the Battle Assistant modification a little bit, but it's just a little bit finicky and messy, and I also think that if you fire and then immediately try and move, you do get locked in place. So Sixth Sense goes off, but without the sound. 2 years ago, there was no sound when you did get spotted unless you installed some kind of funky modification. But that's one thing I'd like to highlight about the Batchat 15558 back in the day, is look how good the view range is when Zulerdien activates the binoculars. He must have about 420 meters view range there at least, nearly up to the 445 maximum spotting distance. So artillery were able to defend themselves just so much better. And so that made them all the more important at the end of the game, easily able to spot their opponents at mid to long distances, and sometimes even ambush them and pull off those clutch shots. Will we be seeing that in this gameplay? Well, no spoilers there, you're just going to have to wait and see. There's also one tank I'd like to highlight on the enemy team. Oh god, the WT Alpha E100 on the enemy team. Oh, talking about the WT Alpha E100, remember that thing has probably the worst turret in the history of World of Tanks, arguably even worse than the 4005. Suspense. Did it hit? Well, it clearly hit because the shell disappeared, but did it penetrate? I believe that WT Alpha E100 had 1,600 hit points when he was last spotted, so in theory, if Zulerdien did manage to penetrate the WT Alpha E100, when he's spotted again, he's probably going to be sitting around about 400 hit points or so. We're going to have to find out as his platoon mate in the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, which one day wants to grow up to be just like the WT Alpha E100, or at least he did back then. Now he'd grow up to be a griller, right? Is going to go and try and scout out a vehicle that was so unbalanced. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 355. That means Zulerdien did manage to hit him, but unable to put the second round in. Sounds like the Borsig misses as well. The WT pulls back to not get hit by artillery, but some great work using the reticle there and knowledge of just looping those shells over the top of the ridge into the very tall and weakly armored WT Alpha 100 means that Zulerdien picks up his 5th kill of the game and 5,500 damage in the first 7.5 minutes. So halfway point right now. Zulerdien has more kills than, is that the rest of his time? No, the same amount of kills as the rest of his team combined right now. And he's got to kill a lot more on the enemy team if he wants to take this one down. But at least he's got a support of his, I guess, his younger brother in the form of the Batchat 15555. But oh gosh, his Sixth Sense goes off again. Quite clearly that then Tier 8 Soviet light tank T-54 lightweight most likely spotted him from the north. But I wonder if Zulerdien is focusing more on the mouse towards the south. It's not likely that the mouse managed to spot him, considering that the camouflage rating on the mouse is just so darn bad for the biggest tank in the game, I guess, or should I say the most heavily armored. I wonder if the Type 5 Heavy is slightly bigger than the mouse. Maybe possibly is. I don't think it's heavier though. No, surely not. After seeing the mouse in the Kubinka Tank Museum towards the end of last year, I can tell you it is a sight to behold. I've still got a vlog of that I need to get up onto this channel. Yeah, it takes me about a year to edit my vlogs, or possibly never, I don't know. I kind of go to those events just for me, but no, I really should do better at trying to share those kind of awesome moments with you guys. Anyway, in that moment of thought back on seeing the mouse in Kubinka, now the mouse shuts down. Actually, so no, the mouse didn't. It was the T-54 lightweight on the enemy team who was most likely spotted, well, not spotted, but shot him from up in this location. So Zulerdien thinks about taking a blind fire at the T-54 lightweight, but instead turns his attention on setting up an ambush inside these bushes to be able to spot out and possibly catch that mouse. Wonder when he was last spotted a few minutes ago, so that means that is the mouse going to try and push straight up the center ridge, or is the mouse alternatively going to make his way towards the south? We're just going to have to find out to see how this is one going to pan out. There's the mouse! Zulerdien shuts him down, and immediately he realizes that it is time to move because there are 3 self-propelled guns on the enemy team that will pretty much be removing all of his hit points if they do land kind of anywhere near him. The Batchat 15555 and 58 don't have very good turret armor, although their hull armor, especially back then, was very, very troll, and you'd quite frequently be bouncing shells off them. The lightweight is spotted. Zulerdien auto-aims. He waits for it, he waits for it, he waits for it. Slam dunk! We saw a little bit of a bug there with the reticle, just aiming off towards the left, and that's what used to happen with these old school replays from nearly 2 years ago. The E100 in the chat says, "Oh my god, noob team." Obviously showing his frustration at the fact that Zulerdien is in a 1 versus 5 situation and just changed it into a 1 versus 3. But I can tell you, when you're in a self-propelled gun, it is a lot easier to be engaging against other self-propelled guns than it is to try and deal with tanks that are rapid fire, have turrets, have arguably better armor, have more mobility, especially in the case of the T-54 lightweight. And we're seeing a masterclass of artillery gameplay right here. 7 kills, 5,800 damage that we've seen. But I think, considering he penned the WT Alpha E100, he's probably sitting more on something like 7k right now. An absolute gargantuan replay that I just don't think would be possible these days without a very, very long-winded game with multiple tanks just sitting in the open and just getting splashed, because I guess artillery just does more consistent damage now. It wasn't able to pull off those amazing penetrations. But then again, it would only really pull off those amazing penetrations if you gave it the opportunity and it kind of caught you in one of your weaker plates. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to think through now is, looking back on gameplay like this, I've kind of forgotten about this. I know maybe it'll be a reoccurring nightmare now for a lot of you. If you're having flashbacks, I apologize. But I'm just trying to feel if I think artillery is better now than it was then. You know what? I think it is probably better now than it was then. The stun, at least you can remove it with a med kit. The med kit is now more important than ever. And I think it's probably better to die from 1,000 paper cuts than it is to have just a sledgehammer to the face. Or is it? I don't know. Possibly. Maybe more mentally torturous. Maybe not the physical punishment. Let me know, though, in the comments what you guys think about artillery, seeing this kind of gameplay back then. But then again, this is an exceptional example of what artillery were capable of back then compared to what they are capable of now. Do you feel that artillery are nicer to play against now? Do you feel that they're worse to play against now? What is your feeling? And also let me know what kind of a tank type player you are. For example, for me personally, I think I hate playing against artillery more now than I did back then when I'm playing in my light tanks and my medium tanks, because I just don't have any armor and it doesn't matter that their penetration has been nerfed. Nevertheless, Zulerdien finds himself now against 3 self-propelled guns, and it looks like 2 are inside the cap circle. A Batchat 155-55 was spotted, and Zulerdien is trying his best to knock down the buildings to make it in and save the game. The Batchat 155-58 is facing his turret away from him, but Zulerdien also finds the T92. He's going to poke his reticle right round the corner, and there's the first shot. 500 damage done. Tier 10 American self-propelled gun shutout. Batchat 155-55 also shut down as well, and that is the advantage of having that Tier 10 auto-loading self-propelled gun against vehicles which are very lightly armored. You can seriously make some plays. So Zulerdien has even got 2 shots left for the GW Tiger, but with 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the game, it's time to start using the mobility of this vehicle. It's time to really try and find that Tier 9 German self-propelled gun and secure yourself a Kolobanov's medal and I guess a Pool's medal as well. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's hard enough to get a kill at the end of the game playing a self-propelled gun, let alone picking up 5. Oh my word, Zulerdien, I'm nervous here for you right now as to where this GW Tiger might be. 1 minute and 15 seconds, we're really going to have to find him soon. 2 shells left, he's probably only going to need 1 of them though, if he connects flush with the Tier 9 German self-propelled gun. Come on, Zulerdien. Wow, this tank is ludicrously fast. I think it's able to go at about 65 kilometers an hour, just like the, your AMX 1390. I think the Batchat as well. The French, what is it with French and 65? Is that like the retirement age in France? That's slowly being creeped up as well. Oh, there he is. GW Tiger, and oh, this is a brilliant moment. Zulerdien knows, I'm fast, I have a turret. GW Tiger is slow, he's facing away from me. Oh! 35 seconds. If you miss this, you're not going to get a chance to reload. Zulerdien, make it happen. Take your time. Get to the side of him. Slam dunk. What a result. Massive carry and an absolute click or treat yearly helping of self-propelled gameplay. So this replay was from version 9.13 of the game, played on the 16th of January 2016, and Zulerdien gets his 2nd mark of excellence in the Batchat 155-58, unsurprisingly an ace tank of 1,459 base experience points. He gets a Gauze medal for doing 10 times the hit points of his vehicle in damage to his opponents. The one that everybody wants, the Kolobanos medal for standing alone against at least 5. Incredibly impressive in a self-propelled gun. A Pools medal for his 10 kills. He also gets a Defender's medal for protecting the cap circle against those 2 artillery, and a high caliber for 8,853 damage. But one thing I must mention is that even though Zulerdien did receive a lot of credits, he spent even more and managed to lose nearly 20,000 this replay. So Zulerdien, thank you so much for uploading this replay about a year and a half ago on the What Replays website. I had to dig this one up from the crypt, so to say, but it was a complete and utter blast from the past. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed this click or treat self-propelled gun video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And I expect this video brought up a lot of past emotions for all of you regarding self-propelled guns, how they were back then, how they are now. And I'd like to pose the question to you veterans out there. Did you prefer artillery, shall I say, playing against artillery back in the day, or do you think they're much easier to play against now? And also to all of you new players out there who never experienced artillery back in the day, what do you think about this? And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have a great Halloween. I'm gonna go stream some horror games now on Twitch, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.